Whispers in the dark. The stars watched in silence as the Corvian survey vessel drifted through the abandoned sector. Captain Drax adjusted his breathing apparatus, mandibles clicking with impatience. This region of space, once called the Sol system according to ancient records, had been empty for millennia. Nothing but dust, asteroids, and the faded glory of a civilization long extinct. "Anything interesting, science officer?" Drax asked, his 4 eyes scanning the sensor readouts. Tella, her scaled skin reflecting the blue glow of her console, shook her head. "Just the usual debris, Captain. Though," she paused, adjusting a dial. "There's something odd about that moon orbiting the 5th planet." "Define odd," Drax demanded. "It's not registering as natural material. The composition analysis suggests artificial construction, but that's impossible. This system has been dead for over 3,000 years." Drax's crest bristled with excitement. The Corvian Alliance had built their empire on the ruins of older civilizations, scavenging technology they could barely understand, much less replicate. If humans had left something valuable here, his name would be celebrated across 12 star systems. "Take us closer," he ordered. As they approached, the moon's surface began to change. What had appeared to be craters and mountains from a distance revealed themselves as massive structures, domes, towers, and what looked like launch bays, all covered in the dust of ages. "By the 7 suns," whispered Navigator Corv. "It's a station, a human station." "Impossible," said Drax, but his voice lacked conviction. "Humans are extinct. They destroyed themselves in the collapse." Yet the evidence loomed before them, growing larger in the view screen. The station was enormous, easily 10 times the size of the largest Corvian habitat. Its design was strange, not the elegant curves preferred by most spacefaring species, but sharp angles and fortress-like protrusions that spoke of a race prepared for war. "Are there any energy signatures?" Drax asked. "None, Captain. It appears completely dormant." "Good. Prepare a boarding party. Full containment protocols." 6 Corvian explorers, encased in protective suits, entered the silent station through what appeared to be an airlock. Their helmet lights cut through darkness that hadn't been disturbed for thousands of years. "Atmosphere analysis shows oxygen present," reported Specialist Veen. "Impossible after all this time unless systems are still functioning somewhere," finished Drax. "Proceed with caution." They moved deeper into the station, passing through corridors where the artificial gravity still functioned and doors that opened automatically at their approach. The walls were covered in a script none of them recognized, human writing, lost to time. In what appeared to be a central command hub, Specialist Veen approached a console that still had a faint power signature. "Captain, I believe this is some kind of control interface. Can you activate it?" "I shouldn't. Alliance protocols clearly state." "I'm well aware of the protocols," Drax interrupted. "But this discovery could elevate the entire Corvian race." "Activate it." Veen hesitated, then pressed his 6-fingered hand against the console. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, a soft blue light began to pulse beneath his palm. The entire room hummed to life, displays flickering on all around them. "What did you do?" Drax demanded, but Veen could only shake his head in confusion. A voice spoke from everywhere at once, clear, calm, and utterly alien. "Human DNA not detected. Security protocol initiated. Identify yourselves." The Corvians froze. The voice spoke Galactic Standard, but with an accent none of them had ever heard before. "This is Captain Drax of the Corvian Alliance vessel Star Hunter," Drax said, trying to keep his voice steady. "We are peaceful explorers." There was a pause, as if the station was considering his words. "Corvian Alliance not recognized in database. Last known galactic political structure. The Unified Systems Confederation. Time discrepancy detected. Initiating revival protocol." Before any of the Corvians could respond, the floor beneath them began to part. A cylinder rose from below, filled with a clear liquid that gradually drained away. Inside, floating in the remaining fluid, was a figure none of them had ever seen outside of historical archives. A human. Female, by their records. Smaller than expected. Less imposing than the terrible warriors of legend. Her eyes opened, dark and alert, taking in the aliens before her without visible fear. "Stasis revival complete," announced the station's voice. "Welcome back, Commander Chen." The human stepped from the cylinder, water streaming from her dark hair and pale skin. She wore a simple gray bodysuit that clung to her frame. When she spoke, her voice was rough from disuse but strong. "Who woke me?" Drax stepped forward, drawing himself to his full height, nearly twice that of the human. "I am Captain Drax of the Corvian Alliance. We discovered this station and—" "How long?" she interrupted. The station answered, "Current date is equivalent to 5,247 years since stasis initiation, Commander." The human, Commander Chen, closed her eyes briefly. When she opened them, they burned with an intensity that made Drax step back. 5,000 years, she whispered. Then it worked. What worked? Veen asked. "Our records indicate humanity destroyed itself in a cataclysmic event." Chen laughed, a sound without humor. "Is that what they teach now? That we destroyed ourselves?" She walked to a console, her movements becoming more fluid with each step as her body awakened fully. "We didn't destroy ourselves. We saved everyone." Her fingers danced across the controls, bringing up star maps and data streams the Corvians couldn't decipher. "I am Commander Maya Chen of the Earth Defense Force, last survivor of Outpost Titan." She turned to face them fully. "And humanity isn't extinct. We're just waiting." "Waiting for what?" asked Drax, a chill creeping up his spine. "For the right time to return." She studied the data scrolling across multiple screens. "The harvesters, you call them something else now, I imagine. They come in cycles. We discovered that. When they last came, humanity stood alone against them. We couldn't defeat them conventionally, so we made a choice." She pressed a sequence into the console, and a holographic projection appeared in the center of the room, a visualization of the galaxy, with thousands of tiny points of light scattered throughout. "These are human outposts, ships, and stasis facilities," she explained. "All dormant, all waiting. We spread ourselves thin, hid our technology, and went to sleep. The harvesters couldn't find what wasn't there, so they moved on, thinking they'd eliminated us. And while the galaxy forgot us, we waited." Drax stared at the map in disbelief. If she was telling the truth, there were human facilities scattered across the entire known galaxy, hidden in plain sight for millennia. "That's impossible," he said. "We would have found them." "You found one," Chen pointed out. "And only because it was time." "Time for what?" Veen asked. "The harvesters return every 5,000 years. They're coming back soon." Chen's eyes narrowed. "And now, thanks to you, humanity will be ready." She pressed another control, and the station shuddered around them. "What did you do?" Drax demanded. "I initiated the Lazarus Protocol. Every human outpost, every sleeper ship, every hidden facility across the galaxy has just received the signal to wake up." Her smile was predatory. "Humanity is returning to the stars, Captain Drax, and this time, we won't face the harvesters alone." Alarms began blaring throughout the station as systems long dormant surged to life. Outside, the Star Hunter sensors detected energy spikes as massive engines powered up. "This station is preparing to move." Tella's voice came through Drax's communicator, panic evident. "Captain, it's generating more power than our entire fleet combined." Drax stared at the human, this small creature whose species had apparently orchestrated the greatest deception in galactic history. "What happens now?" he asked. "Now," said Commander Chen, "you have a choice. The Corvian Alliance can be the first to ally with humanity's return, or the first to witness why the harvesters feared us enough to hunt us to the edges of space." Deep within the station, ancient fabricators began constructing vessels not seen in millennia. Weapons platforms activated, calibrating systems designed by a civilization that had once stood at the pinnacle of technological achievement. The galaxy has forgotten what humans are capable of, Chen said, watching the Corvians' reactions with calculating eyes. It's time they remembered. The stars remember. Across the galaxy, long-dormant systems stirred to life. On desolate moons, beneath oceanic depths, hidden in asteroid belts and nebula clouds, thousands of stasis pods opened. Humanity awoke from their 5-millennium slumber, each outpost receiving the same message. Lazarus Protocol activated. The Harvester's approach. Prepare for reunification. In the Grand Council chamber of Nova Corvus, the capital world of the Corvian Alliance, panic had set in. Emergency sessions ran continuously as reports flooded in from all sectors. Another one just activated in the Cygnus Arm, announced Admiral Krell, his crest fully extended in distress. That makes 78 confirmed human outposts powering up in our territory alone. High Chancellor Mox, leader of the 12-World Alliance, stared at the galactic display with all 4 eyes wide. How did we miss this? How did everyone miss this? Their technology, Chancellor, said Science Director Pell, reviewing data from Captain Drax's encounter. These facilities were designed to appear as natural formations. Some were buried kilometers deep in planetary crusts, others disguised as asteroids or space debris. They'd been hiding in plain sight for thousands of years, powered down to levels our sensors couldn't detect. And now they're all waking up, growled General Vax, head of Corvian military operations. We should strike now, while they're still disoriented. Destroy them before they can organize. With what? Demanded Admiral Krell. The human outpost in the Sol system alone has energy readings that surpass our entire defense fleet, and there are thousands of these facilities. The chamber doors slid open, and Captain Drax entered, escorted by guards. Behind him walked Commander Maya Chen, now dressed in a sleek uniform of black and silver, the symbol of Earth emblazoned on her shoulder. Despite being surrounded by beings twice her size, she moved with absolute confidence. Chancellor Mox, Drax announced, "May I present Commander Maya Chen of the Earth Defense Force." Chen stepped forward, surveying the assembled Corvian leadership without a hint of intimidation. "Thank you for agreeing to this meeting. I understand this is a shocking development for your people." "Shocking." Chancellor Mox's voice rose. "You've activated thousands of military installations across known space without warning or permission. The Zentari Confederation is already mobilizing their fleet. The Delian Empire has placed its colonies on high alert. You've brought us to the brink of galactic war." Chen nodded calmly. "It certainly looks that way, doesn't it? But that's not our intention." "Then what is your intention, Commander?" asked Science Director Pell. "To save your lives." Chen gestured, and a small metallic sphere floated from her hand to the center of the room. It projected a holographic image of a massive, insectoid ship. "This is a Harvester scout vessel. In approximately 6 months, thousands of these will enter the galaxy from the direction you call the Dark Rift." The Corvians stared at the projection. The vessel had an organic quality, like a massive insect made of black metal. "We've never encountered such a species," said Admiral Krell dismissively. "Yes, you have," Chen corrected. "Just not in your lifetimes. They come every 5,000 years, harvest advanced civilizations for their technology and biological material, then retreat. They'd been doing this for millions of years. If such a threat existed, our historical records would mention it," argued Mox. "Would they?" Chen raised an eyebrow. "How far back do your continuous historical records go, Chancellor?" Mox's mandibles clicked in irritation. "Approximately 4,000 years. But—" "Exactly," Chen interrupted. "The last time the Harvesters came, they devastated the previous galactic civilizations. What rose from those ashes eventually became your alliance and the other powers. The survivors were knocked back technologically, culturally. Historical knowledge was lost. But humanity remembered, suggested Captain Drax. Chen nodded. We fought. We survived. Barely. And we realized we couldn't defeat them conventionally. Not then. So we implemented the Lazarus Protocol. We scattered, hid, and waited. We developed technology specifically to counter theirs, and now we've awakened. The chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. If what you say is true, Science Director Pell finally said, why should we believe humans will fare any better against these harvesters this time? In answer, Chen's sphere projected a new image, a sleek vessel unlike anything the Corvians had seen before. This is Atlas, humanity's final project before we entered stasis, an artificial intelligence system connected to automated shipyards hidden throughout the galaxy. For 5,000 years, while we slept, Atlas watched. It learned. It built. The image shifted to show thousands of similar vessels in massive hidden docks. Atlas, Chen called out. A new voice, deep and resonant, filled the chamber. Hello, Corvian Alliance leadership. I am Atlas, guardian of humanity. Even General Vax looked stunned. You created a sentient AI and left it unsupervised for 5 millennia. Not unsupervised, corrected the AI. I had my directives. Protect the sleeping humans, prepare for the harvester's return, and learn from the galaxy's development. I have fulfilled these tasks. And what have you learned in 5,000 years? Asked Director Pell, scientific curiosity overcoming fear. Everything, Atlas replied simply. I have observed the rise and fall of 17 major galactic powers. I have cataloged 12,483 sentient species. I have developed technological solutions specifically tailored to combat harvester biology and technology. If you're so powerful, challenged General Vax, why do you need allies at all? Why not fight these harvesters alone? Chen exchanged a glance with empty air. Though the Corvians realized she was looking at a visual only she could see, likely projected by Atlas. Because even with our technology, the coming conflict will devastate the galaxy, she explained. We can win, but not without tremendous loss of life. Unless we stand together. Chancellor Mox leaned forward. You ask us to trust you, a species known in our fragmentary histories as violent and unpredictable, with the fate of our civilization. I don't ask for your trust, Chancellor, Chen replied. I offer proof. She nodded, and a second later, alarms blared throughout the chamber. Massive energy spike detected at the edge of the system. Called a Corvian officer from a monitoring station. Unknown vessel approaching at impossible speeds. On the main view screen, a sleek black ship appeared, decelerating from faster-than-light travel without the normal transition phase. It moved with impossible grace for something of its size, easily 3 times larger than the largest Corvian dreadnought. That, said Chen, is the Remembrance, Atlas's flagship, one of 1,000 such vessels constructed while humanity slept, a demonstration of what we offer as allies. The ship's presence alone silenced the chamber. Its design was elegant but clearly built for war. Weapon emplacements visible along its hull, energy fields rippling across its surface. The harvesters will send an advanced scout to this sector within 30 days, Chen continued. A single ship to assess the technological level of your civilization. In the past, they've always found disunited worlds, easy prey. This time, they'll find something different. She looked around the room, meeting the 4-eyed gazes of each Corvian leader. Humanity doesn't want your territory. We don't want conquest. We want survival. Yours and ours. We've spent 5,000 years preparing for a war that you don't even remember. Now we're offering you the chance to survive it. Chancellor Mox studied the human for a long moment. And if we refuse this alliance, Chen's expression didn't change. Then we'll fight anyway. We'll do everything in our power to protect all sentient life from the harvesters. But we'll do it without your help, without coordination, and the casualties will be higher. For the first time, Admiral Krell spoke up. I've reviewed the technical data from Commander Chen's outpost. What they have, it's beyond anything in our understanding. If even half of what she claims is true, we'd be fools to refuse. Chancellor Mox's crest flattened in resignation. Very well, Commander Chen. The Corvian Alliance will hear your proposal. Chen nodded, a small smile finally breaking her serious expression. Atlas, show them what we're facing. The AI projected a detailed tactical simulation. Thousands of harvester vessels entering the galaxy, their patterns of attack, their strengths and weaknesses. Humanity stood alone last time, Chen said, watching the simulation with the hardened eyes of someone who had seen it become reality. We nearly perished, but we learned, we adapted, and we remembered. As the presentation continued, Captain Drax moved to stand beside Commander Chen. 5,000 years, he said quietly. Your entire species sacrificed everything, slept through millennia, just to prepare for this moment. Chen nodded. We did what was necessary. And if we win, what then? Will humanity seek to dominate the galaxy? She turned to him, and for the first time, he saw something beyond the hardened military commander. He saw weariness, longing, hope. Then we'll do what humans have always done, Captain. We'll build, we'll explore, we'll create art and music and literature. We'll argue and love and dream. Her eyes focused on the stars visible through the chamber's massive window. We didn't sleep for 5,000 years just to conquer. We slept so that someday we could truly live again. Above them, the remembrance hung in space, a sentinel of a civilization that had refused extinction. And across the galaxy, humanity awakened, ready to face the darkness that had chased them into their long slumber. But this time, they would not face it alone. The stars remembered, even when the rest of the galaxy had forgotten. They remembered the species that had named them, charted them, and vowed to return. Humanity was awake, and the stars themselves seemed to burn brighter in welcome.